Well, hello everybody and welcome to the live stream. I'm Jesse Showalter. This is my channel. You are amazing for being on the stream this morning. We got people who are in the chat, about 22 already, people jumping into the live stream. If you are here and you can see me and you can hear me, let me know where you're coming from because today is Portfolio Review Day. That's right. We're going to be taking a look at your portfolios. We're going to be answering your questions. We're going to be doing all of that here on the stream today. So let me know where you're coming from. Throw a little emoji, your favorite emoji in the chat, and let me know who you are, where you're coming from, all that good stuff. We got a lot of fun things planned for today, but before we go too far, I want to say thank you to my members. You can join and become one of my channel members. Members get backstage access, behind the scenes videos, early access to videos, as well as all of my design files. Anytime I make something, that's for you. And if you want to become one of these fabulous people like Verby and Neo and designer Tom and Masayu and Steve Smith, you could do that really easily by hitting that join button. Also, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Easy Learning Academy in the house. Kresnawira, hello to you. Avinash gives me some kind of these little hands. Love those. Salmon is here. I've seen Salmon here in my live streams a bunch. Thanks for being here. Gary and Pedro and all sorts of people jumping in. So, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from. Today's Portfolio Review Day. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. I did want to start, but let's just talk a little design news because we're going to get to the portfolio reviews. But if you want to submit your portfolio, the link is in the description or it's pinned in the chat up above. You just follow me on Instagram and DM me your portfolio link. That's how you get your portfolio stuff featured here on the live stream today. So I got a couple picked out already we're going to get to, but big news in the design community. Figma is going to be changing their free plan. Did you guys know that? If you're a Figma user, I'm going to try to quote it off the top of my head. I might not have all of the information, but they are changing their free plan where you will only be allowed to have, I think it's one project. You can still have lots of drafts, but one project, and each project that you have can have unlimited collaborators, but it can only have 3 pages, I believe. So it really limits the amount of usage for Figma users. XD has done this recently. They've upgraded to a tiered kind of business model where if you want access to live collaboration and a bunch of other stuff, you have to have a paid plan, be part of the Adobe CC. Everyone's still going to have that free tier, except for Sketch. They don't have a free tier, but I don't know. What design tool are you using right now? And why? Let me know in the chat. I'm not a fanboy. I like them all. I like some more than others, but you know, that's a little bit of design news for you guys today. Hey, David, Divad Sanders says, hey, from Atlanta. Hey, what's going on? Hello to everybody. People are coming in from Trinidad, from all over the place. People from Pakistan and India. Namaste to you as well. All right. Well, hey, let's jump in to a little bit of a portfolio review. One of our first ones that was submitted is here at khalidui.netleafy.app. All right, so hey folks, I'm a web designer and developer. Hey, you always know they are some kind of developer if they're using Netlify or Netleafy or however you say it. That means they're on the Jamstack. That means they're making static site generators, using static site generators and doing the whole web designy, web developer, actually web developy thing. So, all right, let's see. Like the logo, pretty cool. Teeny tiny little hamburger menu, very bad contrast, almost hard to tell that it's there, and also teeny tiny little navigation. Maybe bump the size of that up. It doesn't match the context of the rest of this thing. Fun little animated SVG though. Love to know your workflow, how you did it, because I love animating SVGs. Maybe you know, it can be really honest, you may have animated this yourself, but it also looks like something you may have pulled off of Lottie files. But that's cool too. I like it. I'm into it. I like this little cursor that's following my mouse, but it's not following it really well. So that's an interesting little thing. Again, if you put web developer on your portfolio, I'm going to judge you on performance, not just on visuals, right? So building a successful product is a challenge. I'm highly energetic, blah, blah, blah. Nope, done. Can't do it. Too long, don't read, not enough character, personality, not quick enough and to the point. Not a bad thing. Listen, I don't want to be mean. I want to be constructive. I want to be helpful, okay? But it's got to be something a little bit more snappy, more dynamic. We all have to, as designers, we need to learn how to be a copywriter. That is one of the most highly needed skills for designers in 2021 is that you know how to copyright. I encourage you, Go learn. People ask me all the time. They're like, hey, let's go question time really quick. Hey, Jesse, what other type of skills can I grow in to make me really valuable in 2021? Do I need to do like 3D animation? Do I need to know how to use Blender? Should I learn web development? Is Webflow the thing for me? I don't know, maybe, but let me tell you what a big one is. Copywriting. Everybody wants to ignore it. They put lorem ipsum into their designs, or if they do write something, it's this kind of generic kind of design speak, right? Which just says, hi, build successful projects. I'm highly energetic. It's a LinkedIn blurb. We don't want LinkedIn blurbs here. We want something more fun, okay? So if I had time, I would rewrite this, and it might say something like, hi, folks. I'm Khalid. I'm a designer and developer. I love mobile UI design, walking my schnauzer dog, and giant pieces of pizza. Want to work in a team? Find me here, right? Something like that. I don't know. Something that's just like a little bit more to the point. Okay, I think I've kicked the dead horse on that. Scroll down, nice animations. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of the size and the hierarchy of typography here. I think you went for that big, large typographic impact, and I think that's a thing. That's a style. That is a trend right now. I think you missed the trend. Now, what I just did notice is as you scroll, come on, little cursor, as I scroll, progress cursor. Okay, that interests me. That's a fun little interaction. I haven't actually seen that, so I'm really into that. I like that a lot. All right, again, more of the too long don't read though, right? Okay, just a little bit. I mean, I love the actual like you know, the juxtaposition of like filled text and line text. I like using the color. I think it could be cool, but it's just kind of like a little bit too long. Side note, you didn't mention my YouTube channel here on this. So how am I supposed to feel right now? Nah, it's okay. These are all really, really good YouTube channels. I really like Flux, Ransegal, Kaylor Edwards, love Traversy Media, Net Ninja, love all those folks. Super good. Code Grid, I haven't seen that one. I'll check it out. Okay, you want to take coding. Okay, recent work, let's get to it. A little more animation. For some reason, we missed it. It was off the screen. I don't know if that's a timed thing, and maybe I just got here too late. Let's refresh and give you the benefit of the doubt, because most people aren't going to take so long to scroll. Okay, nice little loading animation when we refresh the page. Okay, yeah, so we just missed it. It was a timed animation, and I just took a really long time to get here. Okay, kind of fun little interactions, but I click on it, nothing happens, new look surfaces. Okay, yeah, let's explore it really quickly. This shoots me out to the actual website, which cool, awesome. Let's look really quickly. Little bit about the concept. Okay, so you're doing a lot of concept projects right now. It says concept, you're being honest about it. Love that. And then we're jumping out to like a live site so we can see it. I think the design work is good. If I'm going to critique your work, I would say that it still just needs a little bit of that finesse. It doesn't look expensive. And it, you know, all in all though, I think it's a pretty good, especially like if you're a designer and a developer, you're doing things that I'd want to see as a designer and a developer, which you don't look too designy, but you don't look so boring like a developer. Not to say developers are boring. They're not. Why would I say that? That's not a thing. But just you have a nice blend of the two kind of mediums. I think one thing is, you know, these corners for some reason, just maybe it's a little anti-aliasing. I'm not sure. They look a little funky. So maybe check those out. Okay, cool. Hey, that was good. I enjoy that. Khalid, thank you for submitting. Lots of fun. Hey, you too can send me your portfolio. All you got to do is follow me over here on the gram. Go to Instagram.com/I am Jesse Showalter. That's where you can follow me right there. And then DM me your stuff. I got people DMing me right now. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's move on to our next portfolio of the day. This is Stephen Kit Tang, and we're at StephenKitTang.com. Okay. What do we think about this giant just space image? I don't know. Dude, like this. So here's the problem, right? What is this telling me? You're a designer, and you just presented me with a giant, empty, giant image or animated image of space. Are you looking to go to space? There should be some text here, right? Unless this is an abstract art gallery where I'm just supposed to focus on this one thing, I'm gone already. I've left. Let this be a lesson to us all, right? You have 2 to 3 seconds to make an impact, and that impact has to be a value statement about why somebody should stay there. This is the reality of the world that we live in. People are too busy to try to figure out why you have this abstract space art piece up top. We need to get to the you. We need to get to the content, okay? So skip all this, skip the fluff, get me to the content. Okay, so all right, brand strategy, graphic design, product development, visual identity. Scrolling down. Okay, again, there's just like a lot of, I think this might just be a technical thing, but why am I rolling over? Maybe I need to give you the benefit of the doubt and refresh this bad boy, because I don't know, maybe something's wrong. Here, let's refresh, shall we? As I scroll down, there's the elements there. Okay, for some reason they were just disappearing. I don't know why. Okay, that's maybe something you need to look into. See, okay, let's look into it, shall we? Turbulence Music Festival. Let's go to a piece of work. Now, here's where I don't mind a giant piece of work is when I go to a work page. But still here, what is this called? Turbulence Music? I'd like to see something here that says Turbulence Music Festival. It's cognitive recognition when I go from screen to screen. Like basic thing, right? I've traveled from one, I need to get to the other. Boom, here I am. Confirmation, I am where I'm supposed to be. Now the image is some confirmation, but again, you're giving me no details at the top. So we need to work on that a little bit. This is a nice layout. Creative brief, client quote, objectives. I like the client quote. I feel like client quotes are very, very valuable. I'd like to see this kind of brought out. It's a good layout. It's a bit systematic though. There could be a little bit more excitement coming into this. Do you know what I mean? Just a tad bit more spice. Give me some spice in this is what I'm saying. Okay. I don't know where that came from. Really nice visuals. I mean, the work itself, beautiful, right? If you did a lot of this like photo manipulation and like compositing, super beautiful. The layout, beautiful. Logo, beautiful. Color choices, beautiful, right? You know, yeah, good examples of it, like nice, even color choices of like mock-up choice, very nice, right? Seeing things in poster format, social media format. It shows me there's lots of uses for your work, okay? And then you're describing each piece. Love this. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. I'm so good. It's so good. So love all of this. Let me just tell you something. All of this is great. Great work. It's powerful, very professional, very serious. But you know what? Like like I said, all of this is so good. It doesn't match this, and it doesn't match this. I don't get it. I'm so confused. You're so talented, Kit Tang. So talented. Why are you not showing me that talent? Boom. Wipe all of this away and give me even a simple old school grid of projects. Hit it like here would be better, a million times better than this. So, okay, let this be a lesson to us all. You can be a powerful, talented, creative, multidisciplinary designer who's able to crush the game in the design game. But if you don't present your website well, if your first introduction to people is not fantastic, it's all of that matters for naught. Is possibly. I'm just saying. Beautiful work though. Talented designer. Hey, is there any questions out there? Maybe let's answer a question or two while I drink a little bit of my Legend Spicy Nootropic Ginger Performance Drink, which is my favorite thing ever. You can find it in the description if you want to try it. Gary says Adobe XD was starting to use Figma. So you're into XD. You were starting to use Figma, but now I have second thoughts. Already paying the Adobe CC subscription. Gotcha. That's a tough one. Here's what I would say. Use whatever tool works for you, right? If you're already paying for the CC subscription, Adobe XD is fine. It's good and it's getting better, right? It's growing. If you need like collaborative designing, multiple people in one artboard, lots of like, I don't know, just lots of collaborators and to be able to do all the things that Figma does, then that's what you need, right? Then maybe switch over to Figma. But if you're using XD, if you're a freelancer working in small teams, XD works great and you have that access to the Creative Cloud, which is super duper nice, right? Okay. Yeah, somebody said type is always king. Gary Voigt says he didn't mention you in the channels. I know. Ouch. Ouchie. That's all right. We don't blame him, all right? Let's go to our next one. Our next portfolio review for the day. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. Would really appreciate it. This is christianbravo.dev. I'm Christian Bravo, front-end developer. Oh, a little developer portfolio today. I like this. I also am a developer. I like me a little bit of that code stuff. So let's see what Christian Bravo front-end developer is offering us. Here's actually, before we even go any further, here's what I would expect from a really good developer portfolio. A lot of times it's like, ooh, what does a developer portfolio look like if it's not visuals and designy stuff? The portfolio itself, the website is going to operate really, really functional. It's going to be really crisp. It's going to be really clean. I might have some examples of code snippets, I might think. Links out to GitHub, different projects you've worked on. Still going to have some case study stuff. This is just what I would expect. I haven't made a full-blown developer portfolio because I'm kind of both and I lean more onto the design side. So, but let's see. I'm Christian Bravo, front-end developer. Good morning with a couple fun little guys. See, even this is better. Even this is to the point. It says something. It's not as expressive as it could be, but it's there. Okay, we're going to actually look at this About Me section here in a second because About Me sections are important. Recent projects, still working on this section. You'll see my project soon. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Well, there's nothing there, but I guess we just have to go on, what is this? Switching over to dark mode? This is just flexing a little bit of the developer muscle. I think that's fun. You're showing me there's hope. I'm not a fan at the fact that you said recent projects coming soon. Can you at least give me a screenshot? Like give me a dribble shot or something of something you've worked on? Just give me something. Like, yeah, even if you're working on something really complex, right? I'm gonna speak developer speak right now. Can't you just riff off a new feature branch in your GitHub? Like in your GitHub repo and just give me 2 up of 1-2 projects that are coming soon. That would be better than this little statement. Also, I don't need hovers over that. That's a little wonky. Let's look at the About Me. Fun. Got some little animations there, helping companies achieve their goals, doing what I love. Love it. Okay. Christian Bravo. Like it. Fun. Okay. Now here's the thing. All this is great. I can't tell, like you look a little angry in this photo, right? So this is a lesson, right? I would recommend 2 things for this little photo here. Number 1, smile. Let me know that you're somebody I want to work with. People like to work with people that are enjoyable to work with. Smile. And then also I'd make a weird recommendation. I'm going to do this, right? Other way. Face this way in the photo. See how I'm looking at the high. I'm looking at the text. Straight on could be good, but a happy like this, looking at the text might be nice. It would connect in an eye-tracking movement your face to the content. So just try that maybe. I think that could be good. Yeah, just snap a different photo of you looking over. Okay, this is the time when I feel like as a developer, skills are actually a good thing. I'd like to hear a little bit more about, maybe I don't need to hear more about this. Okay, you know, HTML, CSS, Vue, Nux, TypeScript, JavaScript. If you're like a designer and you don't know what any of these things are, these are skill sets within the front-end developer community. And if I was going to hire a front-end developer, I'd want to know that you know how to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, obviously. But then to say you know Node and then some sort of front-end kind of like system like Nuxt or Vue or React, that's good. I like that. Experience. This is a fun layout. I don't need these hovers. They're doing nothing. If something isn't tappable, why does it have a hover like interaction? Things that don't hover and then tap don't need hovers, right? Okay, that's just a thing. You know, if I was going to be really critical, the layout's okay. You know, you could probably get a little bit more space, do something a little bit more interesting with these, drop the hovers. And yeah, that's good. Here's what I would say. Here's my overarching kind of opinion of this last one. Don't shortchange your About Me section. If you're going to have an About Me, take it seriously. Put a lot of extra work. It's your opportunity to really shine. Personally, I think a lot of times in our portfolios, we need to focus on the work. We need to focus on our value. But if somebody has taken the time to click on your About Me, they want to actually know about you. So tell me about your, not a lot, obviously, but tell me about a hobby in like half of a sentence. Tell me about, you know, what you love, what you hope to work on, what you're learning right now. Break it up, make it interesting, make it visual, make it written. Too long, don't read, obviously, right? But like, you don't want to be that, but take advantage of the opportunity. If somebody's clicked there, they're actually interested. It's like they've looked at your work, right? And they're interested, they got a little nibble. So now they've jumped over to your About Me. This is you reeling them in. And if you don't do this work, then the fish just escapes. It's possible. They're like, maybe that person's not right for our team. Maybe that person's not right for our project. So that's a thing, okay? So think about that. I'm looking at my DMs to see if I have any more submissions. I do have a couple more submissions. Let's look at it. Okay. Let's go. Ooh, we got a couple more coming in, folks. I'm excited. Thank you for submitting your portfolios. We got a Dribble and a Behance. Let's take a look at it right quick. Here we go. Salman. Salman's been in the live streams a bunch of times. We're looking at Salman's Dribble Portfolio right now, which is super good. Hey, here's a couple thoughts. If you're going to not have a website and you want to have a Dribble, maybe spend, I think it's like $8 or $12 a month. You can jump up to the Pro account, right? So if you go Pro, you get one that looks like this, right? So it looks a little bit more portfolio-esque. You get some larger featured, stuff there, and then you get like these headers and stuff. Could look real nice. It's just a thought. It's not necessary, but it's a nice to have, right? Until that time comes, you might want to drop that 10 or 12 bucks or whatever it is to make that happen. I'm not sponsored by Dribble or anything. I'm just saying it's a good idea. I think it might be worthwhile. All right, Salman. Mobile design, UI, visual design, web design. Okay, so lots of digital design. I would expect to see lots of that. And sure enough, I do. I see lots of that. Let's take a look at some projects. Now, here's the hard part about Dribble. Dribble's great, but it doesn't give you a lot of in-depth about the projects. You don't get case study. You get a little spot to explain stuff, but sometimes it's not enough. So I think we should all, of course, be embracing amazing tools, communities like Dribble and Behance. But if you can, be working your way towards something that allows you to explain projects in a little bit greater detail. I mean, when I look at this, it's really nice. I mean, color choice, nice. Illustration choice, really, really cool. Even some fun stuff here with like the pagination, turning it into little money signs, cool. I mean, it's kind of standard, so I can't really get a lot here. You went center aligned. Okay, you made a choice there, cool. It's a UI kit that you'd set up and it's available in Figma, also cool. This is a meditation app. Clean, light, very, very nice. I think I've looked at this before somehow, some way. I'm not sure. I recognize this work though. So maybe I've seen this before in Figma in the community tab. I'm not really sure, but really, really nice. What I like about this type of work is when everything feels really, really consistent, coherent. Colors, border radiuses, rounded, right? Everything seems really soft. Everything seems really calming, really, really, really relaxing. Color choice is nice. Illustration choice, nice. It's all just really, really nice. Again, this is great. And then what I would love to see is this built out into a project, so that I could, just experience it a little bit more and get a little bit more explanation. Even if it's a concept project, there's ways to do that. I've talked about that a bunch, but I think really, really nice work. And then if you're looking not just at the individual pieces, you're looking at the overarching kind of portfolio. You have a style, you keep things kind of light, kind of colorful. I might want to challenge myself if I was you and do something that's incredibly different. Maybe a dark interface, maybe using more aggressive colors to show that you have variety and range. So that would be my encouragement or my suggestion there, okay? But really, really nice work. Really, really good stuff. Let's look at Hamik Ralfi, UI UX designer from, I'm going to say this name wrong, Uti, India? Otwai? I don't know how to say it, but you're in India and you are UI and UX designer. So Behance does give you a little bit more of that option. You can kind of create expressive case study layouts. Let's see if Hamik has done that. Here we go. And they kind of have. Look at this, right? So it's a Radio Disney app redesign. Get a little explanation of the case study. Everything's laid out in a really nice way. We have a mixture of visual and written. It's not so long that I don't want to read it. I can read each section and then apply the visuals next to it. This is what we all should be doing. Even when we get down to color selections, typography selections, we are now theming it for the project. It's an immersive experience. I'm going, oh, Hamik, you're crushing the game right now. We should all kind of learn from this. We have integration of mixed media, so not just static files, but there's animated GIFs or video, right? A good mixture of different elements. Now, I could be really hypercritical here and say, maybe the layout could be a little bit more modernized. Like, did it have to be so dark? That's me being ultra critical, but I have to give you like huge points for taking the time, like most of us as designers don't do, and laying things out and actually caring about your portfolio pieces and your case studies. You have done the thing that a lot of people don't, right? Like, I feel like 90%, this is anecdotal, 90% of designers don't take this time to put in this extra effort and make our case studies look like that. So yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you. Love the work that you've done here. Really, really nice. Let's look at another one because we're all learning. Disney Fam, a Disney Fam app. So we're getting the same kind of dark. I want something different. I want something a little bit different for the case study. Hillsong, Young and Free redesign. Okay. Australian Contemporary Worship Music Group. Okay. So when I think hero image, when I think like first image I see when I come to a case study, I don't think of this. Right? The other one actually was much better than this. I don't think of this. It's not immersive enough. Everything's like really far in the distance. I need it to be closer to me. I need to see it. Okay. So this is, I can tell like your ability to present your work has actually improved, which is actually kind of cool to see the evolution of who you are as a designer. Because this is a very like low to mid range kind of like design case study, and the way that it's being presented, you just kind of slapped things in and boxed them in as you went. And then, the other one was a lot more immersive. So this is nice. It's okay. It's good stuff. I mean, the design work is good. You're showing variety, but it's definitely, this is a huge step in the right direction, isn't it? So, man, I say to Hamik, great job. Great job. Great work. Let's see if we have any other portfolio requests. Do we have any other Hey, folks, if you got portfolio you want me to look at, submit it on Instagram. Go to my Instagram and follow me, and then DM me your portfolio link. That would be great, because I'm actually running low on portfolios to review right now. So let's answer a couple questions from the chat if you have any. Let's see. How's everybody? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you're trying to post it in the chat here in the live stream, you're not going to be able to. They kind of boot out links anytime you do that. Let's talk about some fun things that might be interesting. I want to talk about organization actually really quickly while we wait for some more portfolio reviews to come back in. I sell these awesome like Notion templates for people who are interested in organizing their life in freelance. And I'm just so like amazed at Notion just as a tool, because it really helps me plan. So a lot of people ask me this. That's why I'm going to kind of talk about it really quickly. But here's like my Notion setup, my dashboard. And here's my freelance business kind of dashboard that you can actually purchase and buy if you're interested. And you just go to my website and go to the I don't know, you'll find it on there somewhere, free stuff. So organizing your freelance business is really, really important. And I have clients, I manage my finances here, right? I manage my schedule here. All that stuff's really, really good. But I love this. I also have a daily dashboard that I think is really, really important. And this just allows me to manage my day-to-day tasks, everything that I'm doing, and they're all tied in together. So I'm able to kind of have weekly habit trackers, and tasks and notes and areas of my life where things are siloed, and I kind of work things. So that's super nice. But that's just something that I've been realizing I put out there, and then I've been using like crazy lately. So, and I actually had somebody contact me online and ask if they could help me improve it, which I'm like, I'm all about that. Let's improve stuff. Let's have fun. That's really cool. So for anybody that is interested in organizing their life or their projects or their clients or work, maybe that's a thing for you. I have a bunch more portfolio reviews that I can do now. All right. I got time for like a few more, and I got a bunch more that are jumping into my DMs right now. So let's look at them, shall we? Hi, I'm Sam. All right, Sam Baines, come on down. You are on the live stream. Hi, I'm Sam, a designer, developer, creator, passion for building products that add a little bit of joy to the mundane. I have a focus on headless commerce and building tooling to bridge the gap between design and development. If you're looking for a designer to bring something to life, let's chat. Okay. This is a little bit like more of an in-depth like about me statement or initial value proposition statement, which I like. I'm trying to decide whether or not I like this fixed. Oh, if you can't see, I'm going to move over to the side. We got this like fixed let's chat button and just this like left hand anchored column that scrolls down and around as we go. So it's kind of interesting. I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of not. It kind of looks a little late 90s, early 2000s. I feel like, why are we cramming like the projects into these small, teeny tiny little areas? Can't we go a little bit bigger? That's kind of what I think. Yeah, kind of same here. Like the case studies are not really immersive, like kind of back to what we were doing with Hamik, which is one of them was really immersive. Everything was really branded. And I know that can actually be hard to do sometimes on a website, especially if you use a content management system and everything's locked into a template, right? So that's a thing. That's why I think like some of the web builders like Editor X or Webflow are really good for stuff like this, because you can kind of one-off a template and do another template and customize that template. It's easier to do than going into the WordPress loop and trying to create a whole new template. It's a pain, right? So, it just looks a little run-of-the-mill. The work is really good, but again, if you're going to tell me this whole story of this project, it needs to start out with a lot more bang for your buck, right? Designing an e-commerce store for jewelry, eclectic charm, tiny little text of web design, UI, UX, headless commerce. I think, I'm pretty savvy in the design and development community, not necessarily in the e-commerce community, but I don't actually know what headless commerce is. I mean, I'm guessing it's just not like a content management system, like a headless CMS kind of thing, but I think maybe you need to define that a little bit more. I'm wondering if people who are trying to start jewelry stores and commerce stores know what a headless CMS is or headless commerce is, and they're looking for that. Maybe define a little bit more, maybe simplify for your target audience or your niched down vertical that you're working in. I don't know, maybe. I do like, side note, I'm just going to summarize this really quickly, this portfolio piece. I don't love it because there's not enough variation. It's not branded well enough, and there's not enough incentive for me to keep scrolling. It just seems like a really long story full of wireframes, and it's just not a good mixture of visual and written, in my opinion. I think this could use some work layout wise. I'm not being mean. I'm trying to be critical and helpful. I think this can be helpful for all of us. But one thing I would say is I'm actually really proud of you that you, even though I don't understand what headless commerce is, you've actually kind of niched yourself into that vertical, right? So it's better to be specific than generic, I think. If you're designing out there and you really love working in the nonprofit space or the startup space, maybe you like making websites for yoga studios, and you niche down on that vertical, you bring much more immediate value. So I wonder if there's a way that you can do that even more so here and get rid of some of this clutter and bring up some of these commerce images of projects you've done and say, I make e-commerce websites and I focus on headless e-commerce, right? Like that's an immediate, I just want to see it bigger, pow, in your face, okay? And then a little bit of character, who you are. But I think Sam Bain's really nice job. I think you know who you are. You just got to keep driving forward with that idea, all right? So let's go to Vib's blog. This is by Avinash Kumar, project Vib's blog design. Okay, so you sent me not to your profile, but to the work. So I'm going to, whoops, nope, I didn't try to save that. I just tried to enlarge. I'm going to judge the work and not the profile because that's what you sent me. I'm guessing you want me to do that. Okay, so let's look at it. Okay, my first take from this is too busy. Too many things competing for my attention. Where do you want me to look is my question, because right now my eye is drawn everywhere. I'm looking everywhere, and I'm going to be really honest, in the nicest and most constructive way, it's giving me a headache with how many things are competing for my attention, okay? This headline over here is really, really big. Is it connected to this information? If so, why do you have a headline, a subheadline, and then body copy all kind of stacked together? That's not very traditional or very common. Also, do you want me to look at the visual that's over here, the mock-up that you have? Why isn't it bigger? Why do you have all these busy kind of shapes behind it? And then why do you have all these vertical white lines? Everything is just like, yeah, it's yelling. So here's the rule, ready? If everything is on fire, then nothing is on fire. If everything is important, then nothing is important. And this is a good example of that principle, okay? Simplify. I'm not saying it has to be a white page with just a screenshot there. There's a way to bring in abstract shapes, imagery, lead them off the page, make it a really interesting layout, but this may not be that way in my opinion, okay? So it's like, again, very, very busy. I think I know what you're trying to do with these vertical lines. Here's a really good example. It makes me think of Stripe.com, right? If you look really like subtly, there's lines, these vertical structure lines, and they lead down the page, right? See them? There they are. There they are. But see how subtle they are. It's creating this kind of like this structure, also just kind of a visual aesthetic, because Stripe's trying to say we're really trustworthy. We have lots of structure, easy to use, right? But it's not in your face like these lines are. Are you tracking with me? Okay, so I think that's a big difference there. As I scroll down this case study, I'm still really confused. Just the way that you are dropping giant headlines and then these smaller ones. Why not use this other side? So maybe these can be up above. These could be a little bit less text and kind of left aligned, and then these could be stacked over here and lined up at the top of this headline, right? So you'd have your massive headline here, and then all of this stuff could be over here in kind of a 2/3 kind of rule of 2/3 layout. I don't know, but the whole thing is very distracting. I finally get here and I feel less anxiety, right? Because at least I've got rid of all of the competing lines. Although I would say that this graph that I'm looking at is still super busy. The contrast and the color choices here, not great. Okay, so if you're trying to sell me on your fantastic design or layout skills, you haven't done that very well. Okay, so when we present the work, we need to present it in a really beautiful way. Everything just feels really crammed. I think the feeling of anxiety comes from the lack of white space and breathing room. A lot of times we're afraid of white space, or we abuse white space and everything's too far apart. That's not the case here. Like, these things are jammed up against these things. Everything just needs to breathe a little bit. Okay, so just a little bit of breath. See, now this graph is way better than this graph. This graph looks like it's pulled from some sort of different PowerPoint deck and slapped in here. This graph looks like it belongs. But again, do you see how cramped everything is in these spaces? It needs a little bit of breathing room. Okay, so just reworking those would be really helpful. Again, get rid of these lines or subdue them or neutralize them, minimize them. Okay, less anxiety here. Really, really good. That's awesome. The layout, not great. Finally, we get to kind of some hero imagery or some mock-ups, which really take up more of the full screen. The ones at the top were just so cluttered. This is actually better, in my opinion, but it's not great. They're just a little bit, even though they're three-dimensional, they're kind of flat. And I'm actually starting to lean, this is now not an end-all be-all, but just a personal recommendation. I'm starting to lean towards getting away from these device mock-ups and just casing things in rounded border radius, rounded kind of like shapes, because these can be so device specific and they start to kind of like date us as to, remember that MacBook Pro in 2012 or 2020? I framed my stuff in it. Whereas if it's just in generic shapes with rounded border radiuses, it looks kind of timeless. It could always be there, right? So it keeps your designs looking fresh, right? Like, who knows what the next iPhone is going to look like? It may not have this stupid notch that we're dealing with right now. So I think that your layout design matches your design work that you're presenting here. See the lack of white space. Everything seems really crammed and jammed up together. So I would encourage you to really explore white space. I think this is a content-heavy design you had to work on, and I bet you it was really, really tough. I would have a tough time. I think most people would. But one of the things that's really going to help you is to do less in more space. And that basically just means more white space. So I think it's good. I think you need to mature the design a little bit. This is actually really nice, this blog page. Really, really like this. I think that this translates well. Not sure about this tablet version where the space here is gigantic, but the mobile looks really, really good. And the desktop looks really, really good. So, hey, I think nice piece of work. I think just kind of clearing things up, clearing up the clutter. I might have time for one or two more. Y'all, thank you so much for being part of this live stream today. It's been a lot of fun. We're just reviewing portfolios, giving feedback, because you know what? At the end of the day, when we review portfolios, give feedback, receive feedback, and critique, it's the number one way that we grow as designers. The number one way that we grow as creatives is when we have people run some red marker through our designs. It helps us. It challenges our preconceived notions about what we think we know, and instead makes us better designers altogether. This is Georgi Nutsabidze. I don't know. I probably said that wrong. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Okay, so this is, let's see. Yep, okay. Welcome to my design portfolio on Dribble. I'm guessing digital designer, UI, UX. Okay, so let's look at this one a little bit more in depth. Okay, nice medical app. Medical applications tend to be fairly sterile, and really cleanly. Let's see. I mean, I like how clean it is. I think there might be just a little bit of contrast issue over here. Like these cards kind of, I don't know, just fall into nothingness in my opinion. Also, I mean, I'm going to be really nitpicky. This border radius doesn't match this border radius. So there's better ways to do this, right? Where maybe you filled the card or the edge of this card with the images on the end, and then everything was kind of stacked off of it. Just contrast wise, like for accessibility, some of these things are hard to see, right? Like these tags, I get that they're supposed to be subdued, neutral, and inactive, but they're too neutralized because they're probably not great for people who have vision problems or using screen readers or just have accessibility issues. So you got to think about accessibility when you're designing. That's a thing. The rest of this really clean. Fix button down below. Okay, yeah, it's all good. You know, I think one of the problems I'm having is this gray on top of this white. There's just not enough punch there, so you might want to stroke around the outside of it, maybe light, very subtle drop shadow, or you might want to think about reversing, going the neutral color in the background, and then all the elements that need to pop off are in white or encapsulated in white. That could be a thing. Tiny little chevron. I got a fat thumbs issue. We all do. That's too tiny. And then the last thing I'll say is this. I'm not a big fan of this date picker. The reason being, I'm going to move myself out of the way so you can see it a little bit more. This date picker everything just feels a little bit jumbly in there. I would rather have, you know, columns and rows, things that are a little bit more structured. So maybe think about how to do columns and rows and a little bit structured. Again, is this a segmented control? Brother, I cannot even see the control on this. So if this is segmented control, man, just in general, you got to work on contrast. I think you want everything to be light and airy and modern, but we can take that so far as designers that we lose the usability of something. And I think this is a good example of that. So that's a thing we maybe need to work on a little bit. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that a lot of the other projects are gonna have similar issues, contrast issues. This one not so much. You got a little bit of drop shadow giving some contrast. But I would say that this layout is just so minimal that it's maybe just a little bit on the dull side, right? Like we need to spice things up a little bit, although this is, I think, a step up from the last one. But I think it's really good work. I can see actually, if I scroll down, I bet you I can see massive progression. And sure enough, I can. There's massive progression from your first project to later projects, although I really like this one. Man, this is a good project. You know why I like this project? Because there's a lot of contrast in it, right? Left sidebar, contrast. Not loving your active state here, but I am loving the use of the accent color throughout. But again, see, contrast problems right there. It's a lot of contrast. So I would say as in your design foundation principles, work on contrast. All right, last one. We already looked at Hamik's. Let's look. Oh man, I'm so sorry, everybody. We have time for one more, and there's so many requests to look at work. I'm not going to be able to hit them all. We're going to just look at one more, and then I'll try to save the rest of these for the next live stream, which will be next Friday. Catch me same time, same place here on YouTube. Who is it gonna be? Who's gonna be the final portfolio review for the day? It's gonna be Brian Butter Creative. That's right, Brian Butter in the house. Yeah, okay, let's take a look at it. Just got really excited. I don't know. I probably got excited because I just really like this super fun, creative personal branding that Brian Butter has, and we're straight to the work. There's no about me statement. I mean, at the little thing we have is always churning new ideas. You know, it's funny because even in that little tiny bit of text, it tells me something about you. You're kind of fun and creative, right? So you're not uber serious. A lot of it is like, it's about like creativity because you're using fun creative words like churning. You have a fun creative logo like this. And not only that, but you have design and art, right? So let's look at some of this design. This is Advocare, a simple statement about what it is and what you worked on. I'd like to see this built out a little bit more. And I'm tell you, for text blocks this big, I'm not a big fan of center justified text, right? We got to move away from center justified and kind of just consolidate things a little bit. Left aligned is kind of a standard. This is a teeny tiny little shot. Let's blow that up. Oh, there's the blown up shot. I don't understand this. Brian Butter, creative. Why do we get this kind of boring like text block, kind of teeny tiny? Here's my 2 to 3 second thing, right? If I'm a hiring manager or somebody looking, I come to this page and I'm like, ugh, no, I don't want to see anymore, right? I don't want to see anymore. He's not going to show me anything really creative. But then I get here and you have this massive image, grids on. It kind of shows me a little bit of workflow and the way that you think. It's got color, it pops. But again, back to the small stuff. I think there's, again, similar to like some of the good Behance portfolios we looked at, we need to immerse people into these case studies. We need to not just show these flat images like this anymore. We got to do something with them, offset them. I need a mixture of written and visual. And really, at the end of the day, I'm going to scroll through this and I'm going to give you my 2 cents. Okay, I mean, the work is nice. Patrick Mahomes in the house, if you're a football fan. Okay, interesting, good stuff. But again, even if this is a nice website, which it kind of is, right? It doesn't look good when it's just shown flat like this. You're doing it no justice, Brian Butter Creative. Come on, Brian Butter Creative. I know you have better. I see the potential. We just need to take the time and get out of this long scrolling, kind of boring. You know what's interesting? Like, even images can be too long. Don't read. I have no context, right? Context plus content equals meaning, equals value. You have to give me the context and the content together. It's one or the other is not enough. Okay, so you got to show me that. So here's and then we're going to end with this. I'm not even going to look at it anymore. Brian Butter, I think your work is great. I think the work is great, but what we all have to do as creatives is take that extra time, put that extra 4 to 6 hours in, and work on mock-ups of presenting the work. Maybe I gotta start doing some videos on how to do that and just stop talking about it and start doing it. And maybe that would be helpful. I appreciate everybody for being here. Portfolios are an important thing. They are so important, and you have to be really working on them. If you're not working on them, then your portfolio is probably working you, to be really honest. So spend the time. Put in the energy and the effort. You already did a ton of work on the project. Why not take a few more just a few more hours, put in that a little bit more energy, and do it, and make it really stand out. I'm just going to bring up a link, and maybe this will be helpful for some of you. But I have a free resource, a free downloadable called Make My Portfolio Count. If you want to improve, if you want to grow your portfolio, this might be the thing for you. It's not the end all be all, but it's a free little PDF like ebook that could possibly help you. So let's go over here. We'll just check it out really quick. You can go to my website, jesseshowalter.com/freebies. I have some just fun design resources that I kind of collect every once in a while and just pop these in here. But down below that, I have some premium resources. And at the very bottom of that, you'll see Make My Portfolio Count. You can get it from Gumroad. Put in $0, put in $1, maybe kick me back a little something if you find it helpful, but you can get it for free. It's a free PDF ebook. It's like 9 pages, and it talks about how to just improve your portfolio. What things do you need to do? So if that's something that interests you, maybe check that out. You can also jump out to Gumroad and get a little bit more in-depth detail about the whole thing if you want. So let's look at it really quickly. Again, yeah, just some stuff about how to present it, things to read, things to know. Put your most recent work in there, put your best work in there, niche down, and do the stuff that is the type of work you have done, want to do, and want to get hired. All of that information is in there. So check it out if you're interested. But that pretty much ends the stream for the day. Thank you guys so much, everybody, for being here, for being part of the live stream. I appreciate all of you. If you think this video is valuable, give it a thumbs up. It helps people on the interwebs find it on the YouTubes and suggest helpful content for them. And so give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell so you know. Every time I do a live stream, if you hit the bell, you'll get an email notification that goes, Jesse's going live, and then you don't miss out, and you can submit your portfolio and get reviewed next time. That would be awesome. So everybody have a fantastic Friday, a great weekend. Find some time to rest. Get some time with your family. Breathe a little bit. Practice your design foundations and your basics, and then get out there, get after it, and put that few extra hours of work in on your portfolio, on your case studies, and really make them count. I hope this was helpful for the day. God bless you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.